This is a first for me. To all of you back there, the online audience, hello and welcome to this live part of the opening of the academic year at the Hortus Botanicus. My name is Vinod Subramaniam. I'm Director Magnificus of this wonderful institution, the Vrije Universiteit Amsterdam. And this afternoon, it's my privilege to host a conversation with some of our students who, I'm sure you will agree, are the beating heart of our university. For the last half an hour, we've watched the opening together, and now we'd like to discuss some of these topics that came across in the live, or actually on the recorded show, further with the students and with the speakers. And we have 5 student organizations here, and those of you back there behind your mobile devices will also have a chance to contribute to questions. So just put something on the chat on this live stream, and Auli and others behind the scenes will be looking and sifting out questions. For the next 15 minutes, we are going to give the students here the opportunity to ask their questions, and I'm going to start with the group, the study association Aureus from the School of Business and Economics, and they have a question for Miriam van Praag. May I ask you to ask your question at the microphone?
Yes, so my name is Britt Min from Study Association Aureus, with the aim of connecting students with each other, with the faculty, but also with companies. And I would like to ask my question to Miriam van Praag. You mentioned that you've been researching entrepreneurship for nearly 30 years now. And what is the suggestion you would like to give to students who are at the start of their career to help them set up their own company?
That's a very good question. First of all, I recommend you to finish your studies. That helps. And second, I recommend you to ask yourself the question, do I really want to start up a business? Because it's damn hard work, a lot of insecurity, hardship, failures, rejections and everything. So you really need to badly want it. And if you do so, then I think what is really important is to find something that makes you tick. That is important that you feel in your heart. Because of all the hardship, you really need to be motivated doing this. And the other thing, I think, find something that the world is making a bit of a better place, because that keeps you motivated for the entire time you're an entrepreneur. So, and then I think you will be able to do it, guys.
Okay, thank you.
That sounds like a very easy recipe, but follow your heart is what she's saying, and try to make the world a better place. Then let me ask QBDBD to pose a question, and I think this goes to Marie de Gaay Voortwaarden. Yeah. And QBDBD is, of course, from the Faculty of Law.
Yes, so... Hello, Marie.
Hello.
We're QBDBD, a little introduction. We're the law faculty of the VU. We're the biggest one, and, well, the oldest one with our 129 years of existence. I got a little question for you. How do you advocate for diversity, like in your role and at the top?
That's interesting, because you don't only have the top, you also have the bottom, from the bottom to the top. I think most important is that as soon as you start working yourself, you'll always know that you can have a relevant mentoring role in the lives of others. So I want to start with a request that everyone should pick up that role, and also on the theme of diversity. For me, being a woman in a man's world, of course, the gender part of diversity came on my path like inevitable, and I embraced it very much. And so I'm still, I was for 4 years chair of Topvrouwen.nl to really advocate for the position of women on boards, and also from my commissarisfuncties with Dutch Central Bank and KLM and wherever. it's very important not only to look at the nominations, but also really for an inclusive culture. So it's very important wherever you work, wherever you are, that diversity is something has to do with culture. You also could hear that in, I'm saying, in the video portrait that inclusivity is very important. So the culture of a company, the culture where you work, I think that is, and I hope the path I'm going on will bring me more closer to the big diversity problems and issues of these times.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marie. Wise words. And there's still a lot more to do. A lot more to do. I would then like to go to the next group of students, and that is from the association VSP-VU, of VSP-VU, and that's from the Faculty of Behavioral and Movement Sciences. And I guess Stefan has a question.
Yes, that's correct. I would like to ask a question for Ben Tichela. Sorry, I'm not native Dutch, but I'm trying my best. So my name is Stefan. I am representing the VSP-VU. We are the official study association of child studies and psychology at the Vrije University. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we noticed that the events, all organized by our fellow active member, decreased, and the motivation across the active members decreased. You state that experimenting is like a cycle. How do we ensure that people actually enter the cycle and start making experience and think innovative rather than just giving up without trying?
Right. So you're actually saying if you want to get people on board in these times where motivation sometimes is lacking, that's a problem. But of course, since you're a behavioral student and interested in psychology, you also know that human behavior is not only driven by motivation, there are more factors. I think that your aim should be at, stimulating those other factors. So if you look at a popular model at this time in behavioral sciences, that's CAMBI model, and that says that capacity and motivation, of course, but also the O of opportunity that's provided by the environment, those are three important factors driving behavior. So when motivation is lacking, what you should do is set behavioral challenges that match the capabilities of people and their limited amount of time, for instance, but also the limited amount of motivation that they have. And on the other hand, make it easy as possible to enter the cycle of experimentation or contribute to a student body, for instance. So I would suggest that if you, for instance, normally ask people to sign up for a certain task for a year, now ask them to sign up for a task for a month, for instance. So lower the threshold, make it easier for people to, get into contributing to your student organization and to experiment and to learn. That would be my answer.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. So the answer is not just to shorten the cycle of innovation, but also to sort of lower the barrier to entry. Yeah. So I guess you're going to be asking people to get involved for the next week or the next month. Yeah. Great contribution. Thank you so much. Then we move to another group, VU Family. And VU Family is an advocate for broader diversity within the VU community. And I guess you have a question.
Yes, just adjusting this. Hi, so my question is for Marie de Gij-Voortman, excuse me. I'm Parwana Rezai from the student initiative VU Family, and we aim to build a community for students from multicultural backgrounds, and we aim to create an environment that is diverse and inclusive. And so our question for you, as somebody who advocates for diversity and inclusivity, is as a law student myself, I see that there is still a lack of representation beside us at the top layer as well as in general. So my question is, how do you systematically combat that using judicial tools as a top lawyer yourself?
Whoa, that is touché, eh? Yeah, so I think I'm very happy to receive a question like this, because it is a very difficult question. The answer won't be satisfying, you know that, because it needs a bit of more time to get worlds together. And I think from both sides we're working very hard to get the world, or the information, the needs we want for students to come in and then say, okay, from different backgrounds, sometimes it's not always clear the measures we really want to see. But I must say that there's a lot of improvement, because what is very important is that we see that we have to work harder on that, on the Zuidas. And not only because society says that, because we also see that we need it to be a better lawyer, to service society better, to have better impact for the companies we work for. So there is a lot of things going around, I think, on this subject, but there is a way to go still, and I think I can do an invitation to come and talk. I'm not the representative of all of the Zuidas. I am one of the partners at Houthoff, so I only can invite you, VU family, to come to my office and to talk about these problems and about the things you want to talk about. And I will see that I have a good group of people to talk about and to see how we do it as Houthoff.
Thank you very much. This sounded very solid, I think, to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Parwana. That's a great question. And I think you just have an invitation to continue the conversation. And I would jump on that opportunity. And then I'm going to go to the last student group that is represented here. And those are my friends from the University Student Council. Now, we have just spent the last academic year, working intensively together. And particularly in the last few months since the COVID-19 pandemic, we did a lot of things together in difficult circumstances. But you have a question for Miriam van Praag. So may I ask you to pose the question?
Yes, hi Miriam. So in the part of the Global Room, you and Ben spoke about entrepreneurship for students and for people. But what are some other things that students and employees can do who don't necessarily want to start a company or run a company to have a more entrepreneurial attitude? What can they do to be more aware of that? And what are we, the students and the university board, going to do to facilitate that?
Okay, that's a very complex question, and I guess we should go for the short answer, right?
Yes.
So I think there's a couple of things that we in a university environment can do. So first of all, I think we can make it very visible. Entrepreneurship should be a very visible thing, and also entrepreneurial attitude and what it leads to should be visible. So for instance, we should, I think, invite more entrepreneurial role models in the classroom to discuss with our students. That helps, that shows you that entrepreneurship or an entrepreneurial attitude, where it can bring you to in life. Second, I think we should show all the time how proud we are of our students and employees and our alumni who are entrepreneurial. We should show it off, actually. We're not so good in showing off as the VU, but we should really do that. And another thing we are trying to do, and I think it's already going quite well, is experiential learning, which is also important to learn an entrepreneurial attitude. And for instance, in community service learning and in a broader mind, we are doing that already. So I think these are just a few examples on how we proceed to do that, but I also invite you actually and others here, because it's a very important topic for the VU, as you have noticed today as well. So I think we could, together, we could find even more ways to stimulate and teach this entrepreneurial attitude.
Thank you, Miriam.
Thank you, Miriam. As the Dutch say, werk aan de winkel. So we have to keep working on becoming more entrepreneurial in everything we do. Auli, are there questions from our online audience? And may I ask you to read one of them out?
Yes, there's one question for Ben Tichelaar from Violin Girl Travels the World, and she wants to know, is it smart to set up an online business in these times of Corona?
Well, if you are setting up a business, an online business would certainly be preferable, I guess, in this times. Generally spoken, there are some types of business that are really profiting from this worldwide pandemic. And that's not only actually online business, but also, of course, supermarkets are doing very well. Domestic tourism really has had a very good year in Holland, for instance. But in general, you can see that the online businesses, especially e-commerce businesses, are doing very well. So many people made the switch from tangible stores to online stores. They had to learn that in the past few months. So in general, the audience for online business has grown. So I think if you want to start a business, there's always the best time to start a business is today, always, no time like now. And if you want to start a business, I would certainly suggest an online business. Totally on board.
Do you have any tips for that?
Oh, well, in general, you see what is going very well at the moment are platforms still, where people are put together from different lines of businesses. And the other thing, still e-commerce is still growing, especially a niche e-commerce, not the large platform stores like Amazon and Bol.com. That's a very difficult market to get into in this time, of course, but niche business is really on an increase. So that would be my suggestion. If I would have to invest, I would put my money there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ben. I take one message away from you. If you are to start a business, the time to start it is now. Always. So that's for all of our students out here. Do it now. Yeah. This, what we call uitstelgedrag, is not a good idea. Thank you all very much for all your interesting questions, and of course to our speakers for the great answers. Those of you back there behind the mobile devices, thank you for joining us. Those of you here live, thank you for joining us at this opening of the academic year. I have to say this is unique. I have never had something like this before, but then neither have any of us had something like this before. Pandemics don't come around very often. And although the academic year will be challenging, I think we as a community are strong enough to get through it together. And I'm delighted and proud that we are part of this community, the Vrije Universiteit Amsterdam. And I'd like to wish all of you here and back there behind your devices an inspiring and entrepreneurial and a healthy and safe academic year. Thank you very much. Thank you.